Greetings, traders, and thank you for joining with us today for the first in a long series of Boomerang trading sessions that we're going to have for the new Boomerang Ultra Day Trader. It's just amazing what's been happening all over the globe. People are realizing that Boomerang Day Trader, the Ultra method, the new system, is the only system out there that's ever been given a guarantee of 90% profitable trade signals. I'm pleased to announce this, and I'm pleased to be part of doing something historic. I always like to be part of something interesting like that. I'll be going all over the details of that, including what the guarantee means and how that works, the rules, everything. We'll be doing that today. First of all, let me state that you should know and understand all the required CFTC disclaimers about trading, namely that futures trading is high risk and only risk capital should be employed, and that there are no guarantees in trading. Also, please understand that we here at Day Traders Action Incorporated cannot guarantee in any way that you'll necessarily make money. Your trading actions from the signals from Boomerang Ultra are your own responsibility. That having been said, I'm going to record this session, so if you want to go back and review it later, that'll be great. I'm going to go over many details. I'm not going to record all the future trainings, but I will be recording this one. I decided to do that just a short while ago. I thought, yeah, it'd be good to have this on tape. First of all, for many of you who are new to Boomerang and you've just barely heard of it or just recently heard of it, some of our promotions, or you've heard of it from other friends or whatever, I'm going to go over some of the basics of Boomerang. That'll just take a few minutes because it's so simple. In fact, everything that I'm going to show you today is designed to make trading as simple as possible. Now, trading is not simple and it's not easy. In fact, it's very difficult, and you heard my disclaimer. I just had to read there. That's required by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and the NFA. We cannot guarantee anything in futures trading, but I can certainly guarantee my software, and that's what I've done. That's the main thing to understand, that the guarantee is that Boomerang is going to hand you winning trade signals, a lot of them, every day, up to 90% of them, and what that's going to do is make your job a lot easier to trade. Some of you have been through complex courses, you've bought other software and everything, but you'll see gradually today as I go over everything, there's nothing out there like Boomerang. In fact, having been a trader for 25 years, I have been researching the industry for a long, long time. Everything that comes out, books, courses, especially anything that's super popular, I dive right into it. I'll go on their trading rooms, I'll read their books, I'll go to their courses. I don't mind. I love trading. I'm thrilled about being a trader and also about studying the industry. I just find it fascinating. But after about 15 years of examining the industry, this is back in early 2000, I just really, amongst all the hype and the plethora of things out there, I couldn't find anything that I really was to my liking, that I felt really, really, really worked and made trading simple. It was always some complex sort of type of indicator or mix of something, but nobody gave crystal clear signals to buy them here, sell them here. Now, you may have studied a course, and they said when the second candle moves one tick beyond the prior candle and the bottom of the previous candle is tapped, you can go long 2 ticks above that. How many of you ever heard that before? And I'm telling you, I was looking at a recent thing from a very popular, supposedly ex-floor trader who was giving this type of formula. I said, dear God, under fire of the markets at the high speed they move, I can't sit there and figure that out quick enough to, the minute I figure out what the third previous candle did in the high of that one, that trade's gone. It's already taken off either in that direction or at that point got stopped out. Nuts to that, I said. I went to work and I developed my own software, and the end result is Boomerang Day Trader, which you're seeing in front of you now. And just last week, this is all brand new, I had spent over a year developing Boomerang Ultra Day Trader. It's a new upgrade and enhancement of the original Boomerang software I released in 2011. Boomerang Day Trader is so good that it became the top-selling, one of the top-selling softwares on NinjaTrader, still is. And with the Ultra Boomerang Day Trader, I'm expecting it's going to go even further. And that's why I upgraded. Like I said, it took me a year, over a year. Now, you have to look at how long a year is. We're just completing a year now, right? Here we are at Merry Christmas time, Happy New Year time. Picture yourself, go back 1 year to January when you just finished last Christmas. the new year kicked in around January 5th for the trading the markets, and you started right then researching an enhancement for an already extremely popular, literally one of the top systems on NinjaTrader, and Ninja has hundreds of thousands of traders, and we're one of the top sellers. So picture yourself already got a top selling software, namely Boomerang Day Trader, and I said, no, I want to make it even better. I want to make it more accurate, because I read every single email I get and I answer them, and I get hundreds every week. Just it's been like that for 14 years since I entered the industry. And the point is that how can I make it easier is what I thought. You know, one of the best ways I figured to get answers is to have really good questions. And that's what I did. I said, how can I make it better? How can it be easier to understand by the traders? How can it be made easier to read? And then I released Ultra Boomerang approximately 2 months ago. And many of our thousands of Boomerang users upgraded to that. And if you are a Boomerang owner and you don't have Ultra Boomerang yet and you're on this webinar, make sure and email me so I can give you the details on how to upgrade. For those who are just looking at the webinar because you've never heard of Boomerang before, or it's brand new to you, then that's a different situation. But Boomerang, first of all, we're running an annual special this year. Boomerang's price has been the same since I released it in 2011, and with the upgraded Ultra Boomerang with a 90% guarantee of winning trade signals, never done in the industry before, we're having an annual year-end special for just $9.95. And as a gift, as a Merry Christmas gift, with that discounted price of $9.95, you will also get my new relatively new precision indicators that you can use for stocks and ETFs and things like that. Also good for the futures, and that's called the Hyper Scalp. So I will be going over details of that shortly and how you can get that. But for right now, let's get started. First of all, I want you to understand something. You ever seen on TV these schools, they say, you know, you're looking for new work, a new line of business, and you go to these schools and they say, you know, like become an auto mechanic, and we have connections to all the different automakers, and once you finish our school, you'll be employed right away, and things like that. You have to take what I'm doing here today as serious as that. If you don't, and you're just still kind of dibble-dabbling in trading, you're going to get hurt. You're going to lose a lot of money trying to dibble-dabble and go out on the cheap and try to find the cheapest everything, or the free this, or the free webinar, and the free information. It's an absolute waste of time. You're not going to make it. This is a serious business, much more serious than those schools you see on TV, joining and becoming a mechanic or whatever it is. It's very serious, and you're going to want to get in this business because those don't offer you, as far as I know, an opportunity to make $200,000 a year or more, and ultimately have absolutely no ceiling on your income depending on how good you get at this. So with that in mind, please take the training we're doing today. This is not a general webinar, but this is a training where I am offering my end of the year special so you can get Boomerang. Think about it, starting a potential $200,000 a year income for $1,000 for Boomerang Day Trader. My courses here, the training courses, are free. Pay nothing. All you're buying is Boomerang, and I'm supplying all that for free and helping you and answering your emails. So you got to admit that's a pretty good deal, especially if you've looked around the industry. I've had emails from other vendors saying, you're crazy. You should be selling Boomerang for $5,000 at a minimum, because a lot of these guys, and I looked at one earlier today, you know, here's our little package of indicators, 3 or 4 indicators, whatever, $29.95, you know, and that's it. We've even taken it to the point now where with Boomerang, you can purchase Boomerang right now with 3 easy payments. So we have a new plan that you can do on PayPal. With 3 easy payments, you can purchase Boomerang, start your career, come to these daily, or not daily, I'm sorry, they're bi-weekly training school here for Boomerang Ultra, and start making money. So let me start with the Boomerang basics. And again, just bear with me, those of you who are quite familiar with Boomerang. It just take me a second. I want to go over this. All it comprises is here's the prices moving in the market. Now, this is a 450 tick chart on Mini NASDAQ. Mini NASDAQ is the absolute best day trading contract for the U.S. stock indexes. That's a fact. Better than the Dow, much better than ES. You get much more trading action going. You can trade in $5 increments, so when you're new, you can start out and trade at a much lower risk level. There's still risk, but you can start out much lower, and you can trade on the Mini NASDAQ. The TF is good too. I mean, no argument there, but the Mini NASDAQ is available on the CME exchange, unlike the TF, and you can get that going and start making good money right away if you follow the simple rules. And I'm going to go over all those today. So, basics are this. The prices are moving, and this little thin line here running through here with the blue and yellow dots on it is called the trade signal line. This trade signal line colors the bars. The trade signal line, you can see up here, it's green. The bars are green. It changes to red. The bars change to red. Blinks green, another green bar, red, and so on. It follows that. That's actually the technology that I built into that, colors the bars, and the most unique feature is that our pullbacks to the signal line are instantly alarmed and dotted with a yellow for sell or a blue dot for a buy, and these give you the opportunity to trade on a pullback to the signal line right there. You get in right over here. We show you how to set this up on NinjaTrader. You have to become a subscriber to NinjaTrader to own Boomerang. And it's totally worth every dime because you've got the most amazing software of all with NinjaTrader. And that's how I was able to build Boomerang. So I'm so grateful to NinjaTrader, being a partner with them and being able to present all this to you. So all you do when you get a pullback to the signal line is you go up here and you hit buy at the market or sell at the market. And when you do that, there's going to be automatic brackets set up for the stop and the exit point, the 3-point gain. And you just leave it alone. Unless you want to get out, you just hit close and it just flattens everything out. So that's the signal line. Prior to the signal line giving a signal on the trade signal line, a trade channel opens, which is shown right here. Once a trade channel is open, and that's the shaded area shown right here, you see that reddish shaded area and greenish shaded area, that will set up the Boomerang's algorithm to give you a printout on the signal line when that hits, and that's where you enter the trade. Now, all this is very important because you got to know this to understand the rules I'm going to show you. Unless you're already a Boomerang owner, you'll know what these are. The second component here is what's called the Cobra. The Cobra is this green dotted and red dotted line here, right near the signal line. This gives you an advanced notice before a trade channel is going to open, which is right here. You see how the red changes on the Cobra there? First, the prices change, obviously, in every aspect of trading. Price is the leader. Momentum and price are what lead the market. Bar changes to red. Of course, we had a previous spike bar candle up here that was red. The Cobra changes color and says, okay, trade channel going to open up pretty soon now. And we'll get into this in a minute, the exact rules. But you don't know when that trade channel opens if they're going to spike straight down like they did here, even steeper than this trade, or they're going to, the trade channel open, maybe they'll jump back up to this level or whatever. We don't know, but we're waiting for the trade channel open before we initiate a trade. We never, ever guess, what I call guessing. You can call it some sophisticated name like intuition or my hypothesis or my trading thought pattern suggested we would be looking to go short. That's all fine, but I call it a guess. Because to me, anything other than taking pullbacks to the signal line is a guess. And one of the hardest things about trading is to discipline yourself to follow a proven system. In order to discipline, that's the second part. The first part is what? That's right, finding a proven system that really, really, really works. And I'm telling you right now, as you're listening, Boomerang Day Trader Ultra is the only system out there that comes with a guarantee of 90% winning trade signals. Do you see what I'm saying? If you've got 90% winning trade signals on your side, when you train yourself for the second part, which is discipline to follow the proven trade signals and the proven system, It could take you, then you're on the right train to come home to profits. It could take you years dibble-dabbling around and going to all these webinars and trying to get everything for free and trying to negotiate with the vendor. Give me a discount, give me a discount. Forget all that. This is like being a medical surgeon. You want the best equipment. You'll pay the fair price that that top-notch equipment is offering, and you'll become trained how to use it properly. If not, don't try to do an operation on me, because I don't want you to, you know. I've had surgeons come to my seminars and tell me what you do in the markets is much more difficult than what we do as surgeons. We've seen all the different things that can happen. Over the last 30 years of surgery, we've pretty much seen everything that can happen, and we have protocols, very strict protocols to adapt to what's happening. We have a team of people around us, the anesthesiologists and so many others. We've got it covered. He says, but what you do in the markets, there's like unlimited variables that can happen. Well, with Boomerang Ultra, I'm going to take those variables and show you how to read charts with Boomerang Day Trader and condense those into crystal clear 90% winning trades. Are you with me? Okay, well, let's get going then, because this is your training. This is your training school to learn how to do this. It's free, whereas others would charge for it. If you want to go to surgery school and learn all that, that's 8 years in med school, then specialize additional training. It's going to cost you a lot of money. It's going to cost you some pretty pennies to go to that additional training. Ours is free, all with the cost of purchasing Boomerang, which is now at a ridiculously discounted price. You'll never see it again, of $9.95, normally $12.95. Now, being a friend of traders and someone who doesn't like to gouge traders like others I see out there, our price has always been $11.95 for Boomerang. I've never raised it, but there may be a price raise coming soon, and that's because it only makes sense. If someone gives you 90% guaranteed winning trades, how much is that worth for your career? You see what I mean? So anyway, the next component that's very vital is what are called the dynamic trend bands. These are something I developed as an additional add-on for Boomerang about a year and a half ago. I've taken these with Ultra, and after, like I said, I spent a year of research. Go back to last Christmas and think of what you're doing and get a mental focus on the time between then and now and how long that was. And picture your buddy Mohan in there every night after working really hard during the day, running my trade room and doing so much research, running my hedge fund. Yes, that's right. I run a private hedge fund for some wealthy individuals, have for quite some time, almost 10 years. And I take that additional free time and I'm researching how and asking myself over and over, how can I make Boomerang Day Trader even more precision? How can I make the ultra dynamic trend bands even more precision and give better signals, clearer signals, make it easier for the traders? I'm not going to raise the price, but I'm going to spend a year making Boomerang Day Trader more advantageous to the traders. And to be frank with you, when some people approach me and they don't get that, how much work I put into it, and I don't mind. I'm kind of used to it. Traders are agitated a lot because they trade and they lose and they and they refuse to change their methods and they got big egos. So, but I'm just saying, you have to picture me spending the time from right now. Go back in your mind to last Christmas and picture me that whole time working every night on charts and figuring out and testing and researching and retesting, testing again, trading live with my own personal money, trading some more, getting stopped out, getting good ideas that were working, tweaking it over and over for a year, and then releasing it to you now. And just as of last week with some more research I did, being able to offer a guarantee. That's pretty good. Look around the industry if you don't believe me. Waste some more time trying to go find the perfect pie in the sky. Not only will you not find it, you'll find that everything's priced 3 to 5 times what I'm offering, and it doesn't do anything near what Boomerang will do. So again, I'm just trying to help you understand that. You think it may not be important now, but you will, because if you're a looky-loo and you're here at my webinar just trying to figure out, gee, maybe I'll look at this, and he's going to pitch me. Boy, I hate that word. He's going to pitch me on his system and all that. Come on. I'm giving you an opportunity here, and if you can see through it, the fog and get the lights can come on, you got a really good chance to, what you never hear from these other vendors, by the way, you never hear this term, start a career in futures trading. They don't have enough confidence in their stuff, not only to not give you a guarantee, but to say the word start a career. That's what I'm offering here. And this is your first class in that career. So here's that. Dynamic trend bands. Number one, this dashed dotted line. Number two, the thicker line. The Cobra and the trade signal line and the trade channels, right? We've gone over all that. What is this trade signal line for? This is school now. This is not some webinar where I'm trying to sell you something. I'm going to help you, become a winning trader, whether you like it or not. In spite of your resistance after you bought Boomerang, I'm going to help you become a winning trader. All you got to do is stop resisting and follow the rules I show you. It'll be good. So answer my question. What is this thin dashed line for? That's right. This is the trade signal line, which colors the bars. And the pullback to the signal line is where you enter the trade. There is never, ever, ever, and I'm surprised that people buy Boomerang and they'll email me with questions like this. Now, should I get in on the second candle after it's changed red? I mean, listen, you got to pay attention. The only place we're ever going to trade is at the pullback to the signal line on the dotted signal line. Okay? So moving forward, below that we have the bias indicators. First of all, you see the bias indicators are moving up here, and they're colored in green on the histograms, and they have these wicks coming off them. That's just an additional tool for measuring the bias. Then you have the crossover here, the color changed to neutral and to red, and then below that is bias index number 2. I don't give them any fancy names on these. It's just bias indicator number 1 and bias indicator number 2. That's all you need. Just for now, just ignore this down here. This is one of our add-on indicators that gives a little bit of a front-run notice. It does many miraculous things. It's called hyperscalp, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. I've got it shrunk down here. Just pay attention to bias index 1 and 2. So all combined together, these form the components of Boomerang, and it's all you need to know as far as the development of Boomerang. Gradually, as you're trading it live, you will see how astonishing it is in reading the markets, because as the market's moving and the price is changing and the colors are changing, you're going to be amazed to see more and more subtle nuances coming into Boomerang. So the way it works is when we get a trade signal, we wait for the channel to open, pull back to the signal line based on very specific rules that are occurring or not occurring, and then we take 3 points on the trade. Now again, this is the guaranteed method. If you want to hold for more points, you can try to do that, and I can give you some hints for doing that in later sessions. But for now, if you can just plan on going in every day, because you're at this webinar and looking into trading and looking, you're probably having already lost a lot of money, and you're frustrated. Perhaps you're upset a little bit. Unless you own Boomerang, you've been making winning trades for some time. So what I'm doing is trying to help cure that for you, so you can take care of your family better. You can feel good about yourself when you go out and you're out in the world, out and about. You feel good about what you're doing. You love your career and you're excited. It's a little bit nervous, but you like what you're doing. So the way we work the system is to just follow that with very specific rules. The market doesn't move in a uniform way. It moves in herky-jerk motions. And especially, just a quick commentary on the last 3 days have been the most volatile days that I have seen in quite some time. And we've had some winners. We had some whoppers. I often joke, my record for trades getting filled was 16 seconds. In other words, I get a trade, and this is in our trade room where I get we're right trading in front of a lot of traders. Our record was 16 seconds, where I'd get a signal like here, for example. They pull back up the signal line, and I go, okay, go short at the market, and we get confirmation from the broker team we work with, and boom, down they go 3 points, and it's filled. Picture 16 seconds from the entry to the trade being filled. I kid you not. Today, we made a new record, 13 seconds. I got in a trade, and it got filled in 13 seconds. That's extremely rare. Usually on a Boomerang trade, you're looking at, anywhere from 13 seconds up to usually under 20 minutes, that trade's going to get filled. If not, then something unusual is going around the market, or it may need to be reconfigured. You got to watch out for other stuff. But normally, 10 to 20 minutes is usually what it's going to take to fulfill a trade. So I'll be getting into some other aspects of the training here pretty soon. I wanted to cover the basics. I know it takes a little time, but I hope you have time. And if you don't, then maybe you're not serious about trading anyway, and you shouldn't be on the webinar. If you want me to hurry along and get everything, I don't know, that's fine. But this is a free training, and I don't just blow through it. I'm going to give you extreme details on how to trade with Ultra Boomerang. So if you have some other things to do, whatever, that's okay. And this will be recorded, but just keep in mind, it's not my problem. It's your problem to be serious about trading. If you want to make money and win and get ahead in this game, here's someone here who's very experienced at it and giving you free training. So it's a very good advantage. So moving on, those are the basics there. And again, those are for career traders. I'm looking to build career traders so that you can come back to me in 5 years and say, I remember that first Ultra Boomerang class, and man, I never looked back from there. I go in every day, and I make 5 winning trades a day, 4 to 5 winning trades a day, and I put $1,000 in my pocket, and I've never moved my level up, Mohan, but man, it's been wonderful. I make a steady living. Everybody's happy. We go on regular vacation. The kids all got their their iPhones and all that stuff, and their home computers. Boy, you thought kids were expensive in the past. Man, thanks to Apple and all these clowns, we've really got it. It's kids are really expensive to maintain now because they all got that stuff. And if they go to school and everybody gets the latest thing, well, guess what? They are going to all want that, so you have to upgrade them. Anyway, before I get into the Ultra Boomerang rules, that's going to be the real core section of this webinar today. And I'm going to go over lots and lots and lots of examples in correlation with the rule. I mean, it's going to be something you're going to really be having to grind it out with me here and spend some time. But when you're done with this seminar today, you're going to go into the markets and really, really know how to use Ultra Boomerang. And if you want to buy it after this seminar, you're going to really want to buy it. You're going to want to have this on your charts, so you're not going to be confused anymore and have to keep going to these endless BS seminars and all these promotions. I get them all too, these endless promotions for this method, that method. So all these fake guarantees and these, they don't give any guarantees, but I mean these fake, I turned 10,000 into 400 million in just a year. Let me come to my webinar and I'll show you too. Famous, well-known trader shows you all the secrets of the floor. No, he's not, and he wasn't on the floor, and you end up finding out it wasn't true anyway. So I'm giving you a real, genuine, honest guarantee, and I'm going to first start right up with that so you got it crystal clear in your mind what this is about. This is the home page of our blog. Our blog is the default place to go to get training on Boomerang when I'm not here with you live or like I'm right now. I'm always available by email at mohan@daytradersaction. Or you can use the contact form in the blog, that's okay, but the best thing is to email me directly at mohan@daytradersaction. Now, here's the talking about the guarantee. I'm saying I'm sticking my neck out and going to make a guarantee on the software handing you proven signals. Let me show you the proof. That's what we're doing right here today. And then this, just keep this in mind. What if you could wake up every day, go to your trading screen and have the absolute confidence that you'd make a steady stream of winning trades? How would that affect your lifestyle, your confidence, your relationship with your family and your friends? These are all vital elements because not only is that so important to you now, when you're trading the markets, if these relationships are off kilter, that's going to affect your trading potentially because your emotions will be destabilized because of conflicts there. Now, things happen in life, I know, but in trading, it's vital to have a very strong, crystal clear mindset, a trader's mindset, as I call it. So, there's our introductory video and all that. Now, here's what I want to say to you. If you are serious about futures trading, you owe it to yourself to do whatever research is necessary to verify the results I'm presenting here on Ultra Boomerang and start a new career. That's what we've been talking about. And because you showed up here, I'm very grateful and very happy for you because you are serious about starting a real trading career, not a career of endlessly searching webinars and trading information, which gets you nowhere. You'll only lose more money in most cases. You'll pick up a few good tips here and there, but you're not a trader. You're just a webinar goer. That's all you're doing. I'm giving you a chance to stop all that nonsense, get involved in something that what our slogan is: you put Boomerang on your charts tonight and start making money in the markets tomorrow. I had a fellow that bought Boomerang Ultra 2 days ago. He emailed me today. He said, I made $900 today. And he didn't even have the rules right. He said, I did this and this, and wow, I made 900. Thank you, Mo. And I said, okay, well, real gently, and I'm trying to be a kind person if people allow me to be. I said, okay, well, just so you know, please reread the PDF. And I reattached another copy of the PDF, which I'm going to show you in a minute. The exact right. I go, please study this first. Study this really carefully. All he did was he probably saw this, and he saw the yellow, and he said, sell, and he, because he's new, maybe a little fanatic, he added 5 contracts on there or something, and came down and handed him $900. He went, yeah, but I just encourage him gently, okay, that's great. I'm proud of you. You're doing a good job. You're a new owner. But my job as a military a drill sergeant here is to, give you some tough love and make sure you study this PDF and follow the exact rules. Anyway, he'll do that. So here's the guarantee. I got to read this so you're crystal clear on it. Our Ultra Boomerang Day Trader software is guaranteed to make up to 90% winning trades of a sampling of 30 or more sessions on the NASDAQ. It's not for ES, it's not for gold, silver, or ice futures, or for egg futures, or hogs, or camel future. It's only for the NASDAQ at this point. Now, I've researched the ES and found, I did it live in a webinar last week and found about the same results. I'm sure the results are going to be very similar for any active contract, even if it's like Euro Stock 600, any of those, but keep in mind, I have not researched those yet, and our guarantee applies to the mini NASDAQ, which, in my view, it's the best contract for trading the U.S. stock indexes anyway. It's better than gold and crude oil and all that, which are very sporadic. I'm just suggesting Boomerang will work on any of those contracts with our default settings, but the guarantee is for NASDAQ. This is based on the software signals and on very exact and specific rules, which are the guidelines for every trade setup. In capital letters, this guarantee is not based on any individual's ability to trade the software signals and for such individual to be guaranteed making 90% winning trades. There's absolutely no way. Day traders' action cannot guarantee an individual trader's skill, experience, emotional strength or weakness, or the ability to follow exact rules under fast market conditions. The guarantee is based on the ability of the software to generate winning signals combined with the exact precision rules, which I'm going to go over in a minute, that are required to be followed to deliver an extreme high degree of accuracy. So having said that, I want you to be sure and understand that. It's very important. Anyway, when you get some free time, go on the blog. Make sure and watch my History of Trading Mathematics video. I think you'll find it quite nice. It's a short, about 7-minute video on Gann, different hypothesis of trading, Gann, Elliott, Fibonacci, going all the way back to the ancient days of mathematics and history. I think you'll really like it. We have video, a webinar. The one webinar I have on here, if you click on webinar, is it's going to come up here in a second. The only webinar that I have is one that I did last weekend myself. I just recorded it with real precision to show exactly how to use Boomerang Ultra and the winning percentage. I only want it's on there now because I'm trying to clean the slate off a little of the old methods of Boomerang and all that. Eventually I'll move this section here where we used to track all the trade setups, and the video tutorials, some of those are older too. They're still valuable for going over things, but it has the older Boomerang on there. So gradually this will all get updated and not a big deal. So with that in mind, let's get into it here. Now, a lot of people would say, well, the last 3 days have been the most volatile days seen in quite some time, right? And you'd think, well, Mohan's going to sneak back in the charts and go over Ultra Boomerang from last week or something where it was a lot less volatile. Well, guess what? If you're thinking that, you're absolutely wrong, because what I'm going to do is go over and go over the rules and the Boomerang Ultra signals over the last 3 days, which were still 90% accurate, even in spite of the massive insanity going on in the markets. Boomerang and the rules that I'm going to show you were the heroes of the day because they still work beautifully. And again, you've got to be disciplined to trade in one sense. In another sense, you don't. And here's an important concept I want you to understand and try to take this right. You need to become, to win at trading, whether you use Boomerang or you go off and find something else that you want to use, you need to become a solid mix of human trader and robotic response trader. In other words, you need to become a solid mix of a human or a trader and a robot. That's right. But you got to have an understanding of what a robotic response is and a human trader response is. That's someone who gets afraid and stalls, and the emotions say, well, let me just wait another, in some cases, 5-10 seconds to just see if such and such verifies. That's the so-called logical trader or the whatever. Really, it's just a human trader. A human being has these type of things happen. It happens to me sometimes. I hesitated on a trade today in the trading room. I looked at it, I said, tell him to go short, and I just paused for 3 seconds. Let me just see if I can get a slight counter move, and that trade was gone. It would have been a perfect 5-point winner in about 30 seconds. That happens. But what that means, the art of trading is not becoming not just a human trader and not just a robot. And this is where a lot of traders I run into, because I'll be showing you the rules here. Then you go, but this, I was trading this thing here, and the rule said if it does this and this and this, you shouldn't get in. And I go, well, let's be honest here. Let's be honest. You have to become that mix of the human trader and a robot, and I state this in the rules and everything. There is a common sense element, and that develops in the markets where you'll know what the right thing to do is, and what's the worst that can happen? You get stopped out for a few points. I mean, that's the worst that can happen. So there is a common sense element that covers everything in the middle of the rules I'm going to show you, which are very detailed, along with experience of reading the markets with Boomerang. Because Boomerang is not just a trading system, you know, it does this and you buy it at the pullback signal line and you follow the rules, but it's an absolute way to read the markets with precision, to understand what the markets are doing, because they go over and repeat the same patterns over and over. Okay, now I'm not trying to get too long-winded in terms of talking. I'm trying to make sure, again, this is not a regular webinar where I'm going to present for NinjaTrader for an hour and ultimately show you how great Boomerang is and then make you a special offer. That's not what I'm doing here today. This is a training course webinar today for those generally who own Boomerang already. I have invited the public from my list today to come in and look, because some people want to buy Boomerang. Maybe they're not quite sure, whatever. You will be after this webinar. I can guarantee you that. And if you're not, then you're just being stubborn because you want to continue the endless search. You get some satisfaction out of the endless search. In lieu of making money, you want to endlessly search. Well, I saw Boomerang and it looks pretty good. Yeah, 90% guarantee that no one has ever made in history of trading industry. Yeah, that looks pretty good, but I just want to check a few more webinars, and there's this other guy who's selling a course for $8,000, and, you know, Mohan's is so inexpensive. Maybe I need to pay $8,000 because there's more information there. And how are you going to process all that information when the market's screaming along at ultra-high speed like it has been, you see? Anyway, that having been said, let's get excited here. Let's go into the rules. Now, I'm going to go over these real quick. I'm not going to read everything, but then we're going to apply these to the market. I want to make sure you see them first. Now, this PDF, I will only say this just for now, even if you don't own Boomerang, you can get a copy of this PDF, and you can go over the recorded copy of this webinar along with the one I just showed you that's on the blog, which shows many, many, many examples. And you can have this alongside on your desk and see the rules for yourself. I don't mind doing that. Normally this is only reserved for Boomerang owners, but as we're introducing this, I don't mind doing this for traders who want to do that, to follow the this PDF. Now, this PDF, by the way, can be shrunk to smaller size, or it can be enlarged to larger size. See what I'm saying? I just put it right in the middle here. I need to make sure you can see it on the webinar, so here we go. That's right size. Okay. Here it is. The method shown below is the highest accuracy method and is based on the U.S. Stock Index Mini NASDAQ. The best, every day you're going to have a job to go in there and tackle that Mini NASDAQ. That's where all the stocks that everybody's talking about now, the Teslas and the Apples, and all, they're all on the NASDAQ, and other ones you're always hearing about. NASDAQ is the leader of the markets in many cases. Sometimes it lags, sometimes it front runs, sometimes TF will front run it. That's not the point to argue details. The point is NASDAQ's going to give you a job and a career every day if you come in here and trade this with me. The method is easily adapted to any other active futures contract to be used for high volume stocks and ETFs as well. That's a fact about Boomerang and even Ultra, what I'm showing you today. It's not guaranteed if you're not using NASDAQ, but you're going to still find 80 to 90% winning trades even on active high speed or high volume ETFs and stocks, what to speak of futures. The BTT Ultra system for NASDAQ will trade between key important information. Now remember to take notes on this thing here today. It's up to you to take notes and be responsible. From 9:40, 10 minutes after the opening, to the last half an hour. It's based on those times. Don't trading after 3:30 and not trading after before 9:40. Some say, well, can you trade in pre-market? You can do whatever you want. I mean, but I'm just saying that the guarantee is based on these time frames on the New York Stock Exchange session. We want to trade primarily sessions not constricted by holidays or like today, FOMC meetings. I traded the first. Usually my rule in my room is I've traded the first 2 hours. We had 3 winning trades, made eight NASDAQ points. For a 4-contract trader after commish, that's about a $550 day. Not bad for just trading the first hour and 15 minutes. That's just my rule. FOMC meeting days, I stand aside. Sure, there was a lot of other trades. I don't care. I was taking a nap. I had some work to do. Then I came downstairs. I was flooded with emails. Saw all these people signed up for the webinar. I said, gee, you better get going here, Mo. Get busy. Anyway, special appearance by the Fed members, presidents. Like today, he was talking about Cuba and all that for some reason. Cuba's just coming back in the picture. I don't know, whatever. But you don't want to trade with those type of activities come on. They tend to herky-jerk the markets around. The full participation of the trading community facilitates the best trading sessions. Now, that's one of my common sense things. It's one of my common sense understandings. Full group, full party, a lot of action, a lot of fun. The system incorporates a 3-point gain on the entry and a 5-point stop. Those parameters are all set automatically here. See this? Plus 12 ticks, minus 20. 12 ticks is 3 points because there's 4 ticks per point on NASDAQ. And all the U.S. stock indexes on the futures. So that's 12 ticks and 20 ticks. 20 divided by 4 is 5 points. And that could be automatically set up in the bracket. I'll show you more about that in a second here. There are only 2 trade setups and 3 basic rules with some common sense modifications when the market conditions warrant, which are described below. I even show you how to have common sense. But that's because many of you, if you're new to Boomerang or you've been using Boomerang for a while, and this is a refined approach, so we want to make sure you have the common sense elements in there too. Only 2 trade setups and 3 basic rules. Now, how hard is that to memorize? It's so easy. You'll see. I know there's a lot of writing on here and there's chart samples and everything, but once you start looking at the charts like we're going to do in a minute, it's all just like, oh yeah, it's all spelled out for you right there on Boomerang. When the market is making a this is trade setup number 1, when the market is making a relatively strong directional move in the thin lines of the bias indicator number 1, what I call wicks, touch or move, that says more, I got to fix that, move through the magenta colored line at the plus or minus 3.0 level based on the NASDAQ contract, then we'll take the next opposite direction pullback on the signal line in a new trade channel in that direction. Now here's the little modifications, very important. In the vast majority of cases, and especially when the dynamic trend band is steep, number 2, we'll want to see the Cobra line first cross over the steep dynamic trend band number 2 line before taking the next pullback signal line. Now I've got snapshots and everything in here to show you how that works, but let me just quickly show you on this chart here we were just on. Now I moved it ahead, try to find out where that went here. Oh, I remember I moved it ahead because we're going to go into the modern sessions. Well, there'll be one, never fails, there's always a setup like that coming up. Let me find one. Perfect. Here's the example of that trade number 1. Prices are moving up, and as the wicks cross over, and the wicks meaning this thin line, in this case the histograms are touching and crossing this magenta purplish colored line here, we take the next pullback to the signal line in a counter channel on a flattish type dynamic trend band number 2, which this one is here, or if it's really steep shooting way up, we're going to wait for this Cobra line, which I described to you a short while ago, to cross over a dynamic trend band number 2. In this case here, you don't need to do that. Why? That's right, because the dynamic trend band number 2, although the market shot up here, I'll use this example of a steep one. First, let me go over the flat one. This is perfect. There's 2 examples right here. I don't know where I am in the markets. I just put this up here. So the first signal pullback is right here. This is what you take because this is not steep. That's what the rule says here. In a vast majority of cases, because most of the time when the markets run up and hit these wicks, the dynamic trend band is most of the time going to be steep, and I'll show you an example of that in a moment, which was the previous trade. And you'll want to wait for the Cobra to cross there, but this is not steep, so we'll go from this one first. So you're going to trade this pullback signal line, and this is where we get, now it'll still look fine on the webinar here, but I've got to use a crosshair to show you the prices, and it'll be fine. I'll make sure and keep it real steady here. So here's your first pullback, the signal line right here. All you look at and say the dynamic trend band is not steep. I'm going to trade this first pullback to the signal line here. Maybe the second, but in most cases, the rule is just grab the first one. And before you know it, you get long at 96.50. They came straight down to 92.75 for 3 points before there was any pressure on that price. You see that? There was a tiny bit of like 2 ticks of pressure right here. Blow this up here a little. There we go. But the minute you got in at that signal line, as far as I can see here, unless they went up here first, there was like 2 ticks of 1 or 2 ticks of pressure, and they came straight down from 96.50 right down to 92.50. Now notice that's 4 points. So even if you had a little slippage on the entry, because that happens all the time, but I designed Boomerang for taking 3 points to cover the slippage. There's your 3-point move right there. You're out of the market. Now, you're going to have to get used to this. I know they ran all the way down there, and gradually, as you get used to trading with Boomerang Day Trader, you'll be able to catch these runners. In these training courses I'm doing, I'll have sessions where I will train you how to catch the runners if you want to do that, the conditions we would look for to do that. It's a little bit more involved because you're taking more risk. Because look, you're like getting short here. For example, 96.50, they're running down to 92.75. They're jumping back to 98. You have to, it's a more difficult challenge to try to get them from here to here. Looking at a still chart going, oh, you left so much on the table. Not really. I got 3 points. If I had 4 contracts on, I put $240 in my pocket, and I'm out of the risk. I don't have any more risk. You might have said, oh, I'm going to hold for a runner because the risk, the signs look like there's going to be a runner, and they go back up here, now you're stopped out. So, again, our rule for the guarantee is winning trade right there. But look at this. I just saw this a second ago. We were very fortunate, and that is what? We had a massive sell-off on this, coming off of the top of the hour on this day, which was 12:15. This is the 3 days of volatility I'm talking about. I'll go over this one in a second. I can actually use these all as samples of different things, but I wanted to show you same rule here that we just did on the reversal on the sell side. there's two trades within this, and I'll show you that right here. Here's the market selling. Now, this is a steep dynamic trend band. Now, how can you tell the difference between that and the other one? Well, the simple rule I call the pizza slice rule. Some of you have heard this before. See, when I put my cursor on the line here, see the market's down here, and you're saying, is this a steep or flat line? You put your cursor right here. I use the universal cursor, and you see how it goes straight out this way, and notice how the magenta line goes this way. And when I hold it there, you can see it here on this orange line too. It's like a slice of pizza. And that's a big slice of pizza. And the only way you'll know this is flat is when the pizza slice is very thin. Now look down here. Look at that pizza slice. That's called a flattening dynamic trend band number 1. See that? Over here, the example, you might say, well, what about that one over there? Well, right here at the signal line, look, when I put my cursor there, that's a very thin slice of pizza up there. It's very flat. If I put it right on the, you can see it's very flat, especially right here. It's absolutely flat. Now, I'm not saying it has to be absolutely flat. The rule is that it's not steep. This is a steep, hard sell-off, and you'll know it in the prices. I mean, look at how they're just squashing the price over. The wicks are just massively going over the purple line here too, the magenta line. So what do you do in that case? Do you remember the rule? That's right. Wait for the cobra to cross over the dynamic trend band number 2. Once that happens, what occurs is what I call a shift in the gravity of the market. You have to picture like being those spaceships on like some of these modern movies, like that George Clooney one and Sandra Bullock. You know, like gravity's different in outer space. It can float up or float down, or if it's neutral, you go both ways. But that's what I'm referring to here. It's like when the gravity shift of this cobra crossing dynamic trend band number 2, which is now flattening after being steep, we're waiting for this requirement and then taking the next pull back to the sig line, which is right here, and up they go. And once again, right from that entry at 83.5, they're 89 within 2 candles. So you easily got your 3 points out of there. And as far as left a lot on the table, I know that, and I'm going to show you in other trainings how to do that. For now, if you're new to Boomerang or are learning the new method here, just follow the rules and pick off the 3-point trades. Now, theoretically, there generally are about 6 to 10 correct Boomerang trades every day. What if you got 8 trades times 200? You're trading 4 contracts and you got 8 winning trades times 240. Let me run my calculate. 8 times 240. After, that's $1,900 on a $3,000 to $4,000 account. You can trade 4 contracts. My goodness, that's a nice career. That's a good day to take your spouse. Whether you're one of our lady traders or one of our gentlemen traders, take your spouse out to a nice lunch and treat her like royalty and let her know you're on a new trading career path with Mohan, and this is going to work out really good for you. And I bought Boomerang, and I'm on a new career path. I'm not just going to endless webinars. I got 3 more webinars tomorrow, honey. One of these days, I'll get it all figured out. No. Boomerang Day Trader, put on your charts tonight and make money tomorrow in the markets. So we had here's a correct trade against a steep dynamic trend band. On the buy side, take your 3 points. Here's a flat dynamic trend band here. The crossover had already occurred, as you can see anyway, on the Boomerang, on the dynamic trend band number 1, and changed red. So you got everything matching up here to take that first signal. That's only for when the market gets overexhausted on the upside. You can take those trades with confidence. The second rule, and I'm going to slide right down to that here, that's pretty simple, wouldn't you agree? I mean, you're going to know well in advance because you're going to see the wicks crossing over the purple line. You're going to say, gee, I'm getting ready for a counter reversal trade. I mean, you're going to have, in many cases, 10, 15 minutes advance notice of that. By the way, everything I just showed you, the PDF contains, here's the slope is average, slope is steep. See that? Every one of these has chart examples and everything in the PDF, real easy. This all comes with Boomerang naturally. And these courses, which are free, so you can make sure and do this day after day Wait till I start getting into the setups. I'll be getting into that in a few minutes here. Now, I know our webinar is going to run some time. I can't record too much because I don't want to get too big of a file, but I'm just saying, if you stick around, it's a career move, you know. It's like staying late at the office. I'm telling you, you'll be shocked and amazed. You're going to want to buy Boomerang. It's going to really be amazing for you. Trade setup number 2. This is the easiest one of all. When all the trend bands match color, or the dynamic trend bands and the Cobra, I just call them in general word trend bands, but that's the dynamic trend bands and the Cobra, a new trade can be initiated with a matching new trade channel and a pullback to signal line. Always a pullback signal line, no other entry. When all the trend bands match color, a pullback signal line may be taken up to 6 candles from the opening of the new trade channel, marked by the arrow. They say, oh, I have to count the candles? No, Boomerang will do that for you. And I'll show you some examples later. We'll find those as we start going through the last 3 days of trading in this radical volatile market. I'm not going to go through 3 or 4 trades from a week or 2 ago. I'm going to show you the last 3 to show you that it's still, even with this insane volatility, making 90% winning trades. Boomerang will mark up to 6 candles from the opening candle with the pullback signal line. If you don't see a dot in the signal line, just skip the trade. Don't worry, there's another Boomerang trade right around the corner. And I mentioned your Boomerang is programmed to mark the pullback, the signal line within 6 candles automatically, so you don't have to count them or figure it out. Nothing complex here. Note, a second level trade in a stronger channel can be taken, but only after a counter opposite trade channel is opened, failed, and a new second level is initiated. I'll show you how that works in a second. Very simple, common sense. You're just trading back into the trend, which you hear all the time. Well, Boomerang will show you what the trend is. It'll show you when the trend is strong by a counter move failing, and then when that trend moves back in that direction, you just take the trade. All with samples on here, very easy to read. That's the second rule. Now, you don't have to, these trade samples will help you understand when you're studying, and then I'll go over the key rules in a moment. But first of all, let me show you trade number 2, what that looks like. Well, while we're here, we might as well use a classic example of a second level trade setup. I wish I had a first level to show you, but I'll just roll with second level, which looks like the first level. Here's a strong trending market. The dynamic trend band starts moving lower. Everything's red here. Now, we already traded this first pullback, the signal line on this, if you recall, right? And I'm going to go over all 3 sessions in a minute here at rapid speed, but I have to make sure our webinar doesn't run too long, because I got to take question answers too. Here's level 1. Here is a strong trend building. You can get up there and look at the pizza action there. Look at the piece of the pizza pie has grown substantially. It's still relatively flat, but it's starting to grow. Here's a counter buy channel opening up. It's not a trade because not only is everything red, it doesn't follow the rules of Boomerang. And it fails. You see that? It comes in here. The new channel opens. It moves up a little and fails. And then what happens? A new sell arrow comes in, signaling a second level trade. You grab that pullback signal line, and you better have grabbed that or the first one, because it's simultaneously, and this happens sometimes, the arrow of the trade channel open and a pullback signal line. Now you can grab that because you'll see that prior to that there was a red candle on it that had actually a blue dot on it, just a complete failure of the up move, telling you, get ready. See, this shows you why Boomerang shows you how to read the charts really clear too, better than any other system out there. I know. Remember my tale from the early part. I've spent 10 years plus going over every system, method, book, everything out there. I still do, but I backed off a lot because I'm busy with Boomerang now. I've presented the solution, and now, as of 3 days ago, with the new 90% guarantee, I've set the bar too high. No one's going to be able to ever touch that. I highly doubt it. Some copycats may come in and try to do it, but unlikely. I've had that happen already with Boomerang, and we wish him well. Good luck to you. It's always an honor to be copied, I guess. Anyway, you grab this, 3 points, second level trade. What's happening now? Steep dynamic trend band. Put your pizza pie slice. Look at that huge pizza slice there. Man, oh man, that looks good. I like pizza sometimes. getting a little older, you can't eat it all the time. Like when you're a kid, you could live on that stuff. Well, anyway, what do we need here? We got a steep dynamic trend band, really steep, right? It's selling off hard, and the wicks, look at it, just going way over the wicks here. So what's the rule? You should already know it. That's right. We wait for the dynamic trend band, the Cobra, to shift the gravity and cross over the steep dynamic trend band. If this was flat, we could take the very first blue dot, but we have to wait for the Cobra to cross and shift the gravity. Here's the channel opening up here. And it has an additional indicator signal here of a bias accelerated alert. That's what this magenta color, but another time we'll talk about that. It's incredible. It's an additional feature of Boomerang. But the point is, new arrow opens up, the Cobra is crossed and shifted the gravity. Your first or second pullback signal line here at 59.25 shoots up to 68, almost 8-9 handles higher. So even if you had a little slippage, you would have easily got the 3 points out of there. Well, now what happens? The market's now changed and moved up, made a counter move, but all of a sudden they're back on the downside, aren't they, with a vengeance? Here's where our rule number 2 comes in, and I'm glad this showed up. When I start going home, it constantly shows up. New trade channel on the sell side, all the trend bands matching here. The Cobra, dynamic trend band 1 and 2, that match up occurred on this candle right here and on this one. Both times you had a pullback signal line, so you grab that trade and short them. Now, just in our little training example here, we've already had like, what, 5 winners? I think 4 winners. You'd be up, if you're trading 4 contracts, you'd already be up close over $1,000 probably after commission, somewhere around there. We're just getting warmed up. So, same thing now. Are we touching the wicks? Yes. So we're doing what? Applying rule number 1. What is rule number 1? A flattish market, flattish dynamic trend band. You can see that's not steep. That doesn't compare at all to this one. You see? So it's just that 2 simple modification rules to tell you what to do. So we just had a winning trade here, and they're coming down here. They've extended over the wicks. So what are we doing? We're looking to buy the next pullback, the signal line. All you're looking for is that next blue dot. There it is. And we had the Cobra cross anyway to shift the gravity. There's the pullback signal line. There's your next winning trade for 3 points. Now I got 5 points, and I'm just running through the samples. It looks like we're slowly getting into the trades, right? Well, sure enough, here goes the market's now going crazy because it's really flipping around. This is the last 2 days. It's been volatile, I know. Here's a new channel opening here on this super whipsaw candle, but none of these dots are relevant right now. Why not? Because we don't have the wicks jumping over the magenta line up here. So all we're doing, because that did not happen, all you have to tell yourself, well, then I'm just waiting for the dynamic trend bands to match, and that occurred on this candle right here. They were all matching. You got to watch the charts, and you'll see everything's matching here. Pull back the signal line, and down they go for our 5th winning trade in a row. Now, same thing. Look at this super flat dynamic trend band. Now, one of the rules is if the dynamic trend band is really flat, you don't want to take trades because they're going to whipsaw. If the market's been active, they're going to whipsaw around a flat dynamic trend band. So we just had all these trades. I'm just showing how active this market has been since I've been using the examples. That's the last 3 days, been nuts, but provides great trading opportunities. But these are there every day with Boomerang on NASDAQ. So right here, you might have avoided this trade because of the flat dynamic trend band. Number 2, if you took it, no problem. This one would have been good. You might have avoided this one. Little discretion there, but if you took it, you had a winning trade. It's still flat here, right? But now what happens? Now here's one important rule, and make sure you take a note of this. When you have a flat dynamic trend band, you're going to wait for that market to go up and reach up towards the Bollinger Band to make sure that you're in a new trend coming off of this flattish dynamic trend band number 2. Here's a pullback or a jump up to the Bollinger Band here. Now, right here, you can see that on this candle and this candle, which are both marked, all the dynamic trend bands matched. So theoretically, if you were real bullish for some reason, you could have traded this signal, but I would have waited for them to run up and tap the Bollinger Band and then a pull back to the signal line. Now notice, candle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the sixth candle from the opening channel, but Boomerang will mark up to 6 candles. So with everything matching, this is a rule where it applies that you're coming off a flat dynamic trend band number 2. Let them tap that Bollinger Band. Now the setting of the Bollinger Band is just the standard Ninja default setting, which is 14 period and 2 period. I forget the term. Standard deviation. Anyway, more on that later. Email me if you have any questions. Very simple. Pullback signal line, up they go. 6 winning trades in a row here. So at that point, believe it or not, I've showed you practically all of the setups that occur and the rules. The first trade setup, the second trade setup, and we talked about the rules. Let's go over the rules, and then I'll just start going over the setups and explaining the rules along with them. And over and over and over, you see the same pattern setting up. What that means is, what happens? Trading is becoming simplified. Trading is not simple. Trading is very difficult, but trading is becoming simplified with Boomerang, and that's the key. Do not trade against the steep dynamic trend band number 2. We just talked about that. We talked about what to do. If we're going to take a trade opposite the steep dynamic trend band, then we must see the Cobra crossover dynamic trend band number 2, that gravity shift I talked about, right? We already talked about that. In some cases, and this again is common sense, where that market is just getting royally pounded to the downside or just endless, and we see this a lot with the Fed rigging, endless upside pushing beyond anyone's boundaries of imagination, sometimes just good common sense is to wait until the dynamic trend band really flattens out completely or changes color, then go ahead and get into an opposite side trade using the rule number 2. Sometimes. It's rare, but if you see that, sometimes you go, whoa, 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 this is getting pounded so hard to the downside, I don't want to trade against this. Well, just wait till all the dynamic trend bands and the Cobra match colors and take that next trade. That's all. It's so simple. It's all you got to do. Do not take trades when the dynamic trend band is flat. Number 2. We just went over that a second ago. When it's flat, do what? Caution, because that's often a choppy, whipsaw, range-bound type periods in the market. Anytime you see candles coming in that are whipsawing back and forth, let me find an example of that. They're not hard to find because they do occur. Perfect. This type of stuff. Here's a mark. It's green, it's yellow, it's blue. Not so much here. There's some periods that are just... Here's a good example. And sometimes, like today, we had an extended period. This is an extended period one here. Channel up, channel down on the next candle, channel up on the next candle with a candle running here, 61 up to 67, a 6-point candle, more candles shooting up. This is all whipsaw. Boomerangs just loudly screaming in your ear. Stand aside. No trade setup. Just wait. And that's where the Boomerang or the Bollinger Band comes to the rescue. Look at that. You've got, the trend band's concluding here, but you've got massive whipsaw in reaction to this last downside move here. And this is a fat channel. We haven't talked about those yet, but you do not take trades after a series of strong whipsaw candles in one direction, 2 to 3 to 4, especially when the first or second one is 2.5 to 3 points or more. You do not take that next pullback signal line. Turn your head to the left with me here. Go ahead, turn your head to the left. Here's the guy's back, and there's a fat belly. It's kind of a joke, but it's a real funny metaphor to keep you out of trading out of those. Don't trade fat channels. Just turn your head to the left and go, yep, fat channel. On this one, on the fat channels on the upside, you have to turn your head to the right. Anyway, the reaction to this is just all whipsaw because we've had such a powerful move to the upside and down, and it's just turning into a whipsaw frenzy here. Had a lot of that the last 3 days. You don't have to figure it out. Just stand aside and do what? That's right. What is the rule when you have a flat dynamic trend band? Wait for Boomerang to open up a new channel and watch for the candles to come down and tap the Bollinger Band like they're doing right here. See that? That often, very frequently, when the Bollinger Bands are tapped, it starts up a new trend direction. If you're still not sure, watch, like in this case, 2 taps. Here's 3 taps. Then you get another pullback signal line because all the dynamic trend bands are matching, though. Pretty much, if you see that they're all matching and you're getting that tap on the signal line there, you're going to get a downside move started. And then there they go to the downside. Now, what's the situation here? Turn your head to the right. There's his back. There's his fat belly. Fat channel. The market screamed lower here, right? Forming a fat channel. But we got shorted this before the fat channel occurred. And the response to this was a radical whipsaw shooting higher. Here's the opening candle with an immediate 57.75 to 63.25 5-point candle jump to the upside. It just takes a millisecond to measure it by just putting your cursor up there. Go 58, 63. You get real good at getting fast with the math. It's no big deal. It's just, you're in a high-speed environment. You got to get fast, just like anything. Don't trade at the top of the fat channel. Most of those are going to reverse. Whipsaw up, whipsaw down. The channel's back to being flat. Nothing to do here. Notice how they just barely taps the Bollinger Band here. I still wouldn't take this trade, except 3 candles into the move, all the dynamic trend bands are matching. If you had grabbed this trade here or this one, you still would have had a 3-point gain. It was a kind of crazy move to take, but I'm just showing you how Boomerang always comes to the rescue, even when you're in a tight spot. Here's an example here. Dynamic trend bands, not steep, but this is not a, the wicks didn't get touched up here on the magenta line. Starting to get into all the trade setups kind of by automatically. I started doing that. Fast pullback here. Now, again, these are smaller candles, so when all the dynamic trend bands match, Boomerang is matching up to the 6th candle with a pullback signal line, and down goes the prices. No problem. Got all red histograms down here on the bias indexes. And then, now, by the way, just in all fairness, this isn't a good example of a chart pattern, but you would not trade this. Why? This is a West Coast chart, by the way, because it's after 12:30 or 3:30 on the East Coast chart. So the last half an hour trading, you're just going to want to avoid that. It's not important. All right, so those are the 3 rules. Or I missed the 3rd one here. Let's go down to the 3rd one. Do not take trades when a fat channel forms. Gee, I just described all that. This is caused by 2 to 4 spike candles. New trade channels happen. One of those are 250 or more in length. Usually the more whipsaw it is. Stand aside. Don't take a fat channel trade at the top or bottom of the fat channel. Here's the examples. Here's everything you need, all contained in here. Very simple to learn. Once you start trading with Boomerang, you go, oh my God, here's another one. And there's 90% winners. How can you can still mess it up when you're new. You're trying to figure it all out and understand, but don't worry, I'm here for you. Here's our blog address, and my address is mohan@daytradersaction, or you can contact me through the blog. Let's start going through these samples so we can go into a short question and answer, and we can end the seminar. What I'm going to do now, rather than go over the samples, because I got those a note, I'm going to stop.